the Spirit of Community Award winner. This is Fox 14, your morning news.
Good morning and happy Tuesday, everyone. It is 8:30 here on Fox 14, your morning news. I'm Chelsea Jones.
I'm Anna McAllister.
And I'm meteorologist Lexi Birmingham.
All right, it is a beautiful Tuesday morning. The sun is up. It's going to be a sunshiny day.
I just got to tell you, it's Wednesday.
Did I say Tuesday?
Yeah, sorry.
Listen, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know what that's about, but it is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. And it's still going to be a pretty day today, tomorrow, and the rest of the week.
Yeah, pretty much. Basically, Chelsea just pretty much sold it. We're not really seeing too many changes with our forecast as of this morning. Still seeing some nice clear skies with plenty of blue skies as well, although temperatures are slowly beginning to warm up as the sun continues to rise. So just keep that in mind if you haven't head out the door just yet. Just grab the jackets and the sweaters. We'll see about 48 degrees by the lunch hour for today, and we are expecting most of our highs to top out in the lower 50s by later this afternoon. That is your forecast first.
Thanks, Lexi. After an all-day hearing yesterday to set the ground rules, House Democrats are ready to bring the articles of impeachment against the president to the floor.
And we have Corinne Kafka joins us from Capitol Hill, the start of what will be a historic day.
3 years into President Trump's first term and nearly 3 months after launching an impeachment inquiry, the House of Representatives is poised to impeach.
We believe this conduct is impeachable and should never take place again under our constitutional system.
As impeachment eve demonstrations took place in cities around the country, the House Rules Committee wrapped an all-day session preparing the full chamber to vote on 2 articles of impeachment. One alleging abuse of power by the president, another obstruction of Congress. President Trump said when the House votes, he won't be watching.
This has been a total sham from the beginning.
On Tuesday afternoon, the president sent this 6-page letter to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, writing, among other accusations, "You do not know, nor do you care, the great damage and hurt you have inflicted upon wonderful and loving members of my family, and more due process was afforded to those accused in the Salem witch trials." House Democratic leaders say they did not arrive at this point without careful consideration.
It's the most solemn undertaking that any member of Congress can have as it relates to our responsibility as a separate and co-equal branch of government.
House Republican leaders expect a strong GOP vote against the articles.
The reason why I know we'll stay united is because the facts are on our side.
Well, the president also tweeted this morning at last look. He's saying to say a prayer, but not everybody is for the impeachment. There's been rallies that are having some cries like defend democracy, remove the criminal, dump Trump. Those are being heard across the country yesterday. But Martha Meredith is going to explain how not everyone is in support of that.
Rally cries on the eve of a historic vote. Hours before the House decides whether or not to impeach President Trump, thousands of protesters held rallies in major cities across the country. In Pittsburgh, a crowd braved the cold weather to call for impeachment, cheering and holding signs reading, "Trump is not above the law."
I just think there are times in our lives when we have to speak up and we have to take some action. This is our country, for us, by us, and if we don't speak out, then shame on us.
I hope that the House does impeach Trump, and I kind of believe they will. I don't see any reason they won't.
Demonstrations in Florida echoing those views. A group gathered outside President Trump's golf resort in Doral to rally in favor of impeachment. However, not everyone agrees. USA! USA! In New York, people supporting the president had a different message, chanting 4 more years and USA on repeat. With an American flag in hand, one woman says there's not enough proof to oust the president.
It's a farce. There's not one shred of evidence. It's hearsay. This one heard that one who heard the other one. Get some concrete evidence.
As Congress debates, a new Washington Post ABC News poll shows the public stands divided, with roughly half of Americans saying they want Congress to impeach and remove the president from office. In Washington, Mark Meredith, Fox News.
New this morning, funeral arrangements for Reverend Dr. John Russell Sr., who served as a Ouachita Parish School Board member for 33 years, has been set. Dr. Russell was known for his efforts to get the Ouachita Parish school system to acknowledge Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. He will lie in state Thursday, December 26th from noon until 6 p.m., and then there will be a civil rights and social justice celebration to immediately follow at the Greater New Antioch Baptist Church. The final visitation and official celebration of life will be on Friday, December 27th at 11 a.m. at that same church. And instead of flowers, organizers are asking attendees to make donations to the Dr. John Russell Sr. Scholarship Fund or to the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Foundation for Ouachita Parish.
Residents in Tallulah, you are being asked to limit your water use. That's because the city's water system is experiencing a large water leak. So they're asking you to conserve your usage while they troubleshoot the problem. Now, we're going to update you when you can go back to your regular usage when we learn more from city leaders. And Union County drug officials are warning the public about a possible drug mixing that could be deadly. 2 young adults recently tested positive for having fentanyl in their system after having overdose-like symptoms linked to marijuana use. So far this year, officials say they're not the only ones in Union County. Loren Beck at the South Arkansas Regional Health Center said there's been numerous reports this year alone. Now, all of those that were tested said they're not even sure how the substance got in their system, making officials and doctors believe it's not showing up by accident.
8 different people that have come up positive for fentanyl. 7 of them have no idea how it got there. And the 8th person came to me saying something was wrong with my weed. Test me. And fentanyl was in his system, and he was terrified.
Marijuana use is only legal in Arkansas for medical purposes, and you must have a valid ID to purchase it from a dispensary.
A community comes together after Monday's tornado ripped through a North Louisiana woman's home. Fox 14's Hunter Elise spoke with family and friends and has more on what the community is doing to help.
Monday's tornado ripped through parts of central Louisiana, destroying homes, trees, and roads. Holly Harris and her family were one of the victims.
You know, my first thought was the roof blew off or there's a wall knocked in. And then about 5 minutes later, I got a picture, and it was just level.
Harris's family says given the circumstances, they feel blessed to be alive.
You got so much to be grateful for. That's what I told my wife. The kids were at school. She was at work at the hospital.
And now the family is looking up and moving forward as best they can.
They're just trying to salvage the pictures and photographs, the memorabilia that is so meaningful that you lose in the house.
That's where Harris's community is stepping in.
Like when you're from here, you'll always be from here.
The community in Forest, Louisiana, where Harris grew up, is collecting donations of clothes, toys, and other household items the family needs.
We're hoping that we can make a difference, you know, and we can, and we will.
The owner of Helmer's Country Store has a bucket to fill with donations for the Harris family inside the shop.
Helpless feeling to lose your home, and especially right here this time of the year, but we can make a difference.
In Forest, Hunter Elise, Fox 14 News.
Family friends have set up a GoFundMe page to help the Harrises, and you can find that link on myarklamiss.com.
This year's Heisman Trophy winner has scored a true win for the Ohio community where he grew up. This is Anna's favorite, Louisiana State University quarterback Joe Burrow. He mentioned in his acceptance speech that he was from a very improvised area of Ohio where many people are hungry. So since that speech, donations have been flooding into the Athens County, Ohio Food Bank. People are sending money along with boxes and cans of food. Volunteers are having a hard time keeping up with the donations.
Absolutely, this is completely unexpected. We had no idea that anything like this would happen. It's much more than we would typically get in a year.
By last count, the food pantry has received around $200,000 this week. That is awesome.
All thanks to the best, Joe Burrow. Shout out to him. Still to come on Fox 14. All eyes are on the man himself, Joe Burrow, Coach O, and others who took home trophies for their performances this season.
Yeah, we're going to recap it all for you, and we're going to bring you some other sports next in our donation report.